Hello, Gelato Familia. It is George, the Disney Italiano, coming to you with another live. I got my good friend here, Lucas Kim, returning back for this live, and we got a lot to talk about, especially when it comes. If you checked out the thumbnail, we finally got a first teaser trailer for the highly anticipated upcoming Kingdom Hearts 4. I've been playing this game since I was 11, 12 years old when the franchise first started. And I tell you what, like, this is a long time coming. I mean, we've waited several years for its sequel. We waited, I don't know, like it feels like forever and a day for number three, but we kind of got some side games with Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, and some other side stories that are part of the franchise. But we're going to get into all of that because Lucas has some deep core knowledge based off of the original um, teaser that was dropped. And but before we get into all that, Lucas, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So my name is Lucas Kim. I am a big gamer, obviously, and I'm also a big Disney fan. For those who already know, the reason why we're discussing this is because, Kingdom Hearts has always been a big, close connections with Disney franchise, and in every game, there's always the Disney IPs involved into the story. But obviously, even with the Disney IPs, there has always been its own original lore and its own core story behind the scenes right there. So we're gonna discuss that, and I think it's been like at least about 4 to 5 years since we haven't seen this trailer. I think the first trailer was like probably just about 6 years, I think.
And didn't we also get a kind of like a little teaser of what was to come after? It was like an end credit scene to the last Kingdom Hearts game. It was the what was it? Chain of Melodies, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a music game, and then it had like a very like a teaser trailer right there, like if by the end of the game right there, and they kind of explain about Sora being missing, from the world, and I think Donald and Goofy are out on a journey trying to find Sora while they're walking in the darkness, and that was like the part of the story. And obviously Sora is if for those people who never played Kingdom Hearts 3, or at least actually have played Kingdom Hearts 3, by the end of the story, Sora met with was like had a kind of a sort of farewell with Kyrie, where he disappeared from his world at the Destiny Islands, and then everyone was like, "What happened to Sora?" And then that kind of changed everything. And by the end, Sora wakes up in kind of like a real reality, like a realistic type of world known as Quadratum, and he's kind of like stuck right there with not sure why he's actually in that world instead of being with his friends again. But at this point, you know you he's kind of like all by himself. He's like kind of like a one-man army, since Donald and Goofy are not actually like together with him for the time being. And as for Riku and Kairi, their like stories are yet to be told as of right now. All we know is that the cloak person is not a part of the organization 13 anymore. Is a uh, what we would call as a master of master of the keeper from the back cover, basically. And that's where we're gonna see like more story behind the it goes a little bit back about like revealing what has happened during the Kingdom Hearts X, which is also like known as a back cover type of story. And we're gonna see like the story behind Masters of Masters, Luxu, and then the other Guardians who were involved in that story. And I think we're gonna see more of that eventually in the fourth one.
And if you can possibly confirm this for me, because when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3, it was closer to the end scenes when they were fighting the members of the organization, where Sora had a brief visual encounter eye to eye with this young boy who who he doesn't recognize, but yet feels that he knows. That is the young boy that was part of the Masters um, segment, correct?
Sort of. So in this case, a lot of people are obviously Chirithi is like, the cat is involved in the Kingdom Hearts 3, and then the actual person behind the Sora talking to Sora, a lot of people are assuming that is actually Strelitzia, who was technically dead in the mobile game of the Kingdom Hearts story.
Okay.
Like she was one of the very first person to be betrayed and killed by like a group of Heartless, and then she along with Chirithi, and then people assume that she either became like a Heartless or nobody, but she has never shown up in any of the main franchise of the Kingdom Hearts until the fourth one actually revealed itself that she is definitely returning into the story. She is in Quadratum, and she is probably guiding Sora, on what to do going forward with the story. As you know, the main story of Xehanort arc is pretty much over, so like that part is over. But the rest of the Guardians and then the Master of Masters story is like yet to be unfold, obviously. And even at the end of the Kingdom Hearts DLC story, um, uh, Sigbar turns out to be Luxu, who is actually reincarnated. He reincarnated or hid himself as Sigbar, and he has been like, kind of pretending, playing dumb, and he didn't. He was just like kind of like involved as like a guard and everything. But throughout the whole story of Kingdom Hearts, Sigbar, or at least Braig, has been Luxu this whole time, and he's just been kind of like been an observer of like how this like plays out throughout the whole story. And it turns out that he's like he realized that he's been played by everyone, and and then he reveals that the Master has been like kind of like playing this along way ahead of his step. So now in the Quadratum, we're gonna see Masters, as well as the quote another female cloaked figure who's probably turning out to be one of the Keyblade like masters that in the back cover is probably involved in that story. And I think a lot of people are assuming that might be Ava, the fox, the part of the fox right there.
Oh,
So
okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's quite interesting because I always assumed that Kingdom Hearts was going to be kind of like a one kind of layer kind of game because I assumed like it was just a crossover between Disney and Final Fantasy. But as the series progressed and we got side stories and we got prequels and everything, it just created its own like multi-layer universe and lore that I find quite fascinating, but yet quite confusing at times. So, um, let's see.
yeah, that's the thing. I think like for the people who are new into Kingdom Hearts right now are probably going to be really confused about what's going on, because obviously Tetsuya Nomura says this is like a new story after Xehanort arc and everything, but all of a sudden Sora wakes up in a new world with all these new characters in it, but these characters are technically from the previous lores. So for the people who are trying to get into the like a new type of Kingdom Hearts right there, they're going to be confused about like, who is this person, who is that person, what's going on with the story. And obviously you're going to have to play from Kingdom Hearts 1 through all the side story, like the spin-off and everything again, to understand the current story of Kingdom Hearts. And that is like the biggest like downside of Kingdom Hearts, because like at the end of the day, it has been about 24-year-old video game franchise that has been like a depth lore that people have been confused still even now today, and yet it's been 24 years. Some people don't even know what this game is. Like the new generation people, like might not even recognize what this game is, and some people might not even get into like the old game either. So like it is a there's a lot of mess, and Nomura basically took this along to bring out the fourth one.
That is very true. And even there's even different renditions of the original first two, Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, because they ended up coming out with Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, and so it's like the same game but in a updated kind of uh format, and then where they combined, where they put it on like Birth by Sleep on one, where like you can play multiple games like on one uh disc, so to speak. And that all occurred prior to Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I wanted to ask you too, because we will get into some of the chat, and we will be playing the trailer so we can get a better understanding too of what's being discussed. But from myself watching the trailer and what have you, of only seeing the characters that we know, but just in the Disney universe, it only shows Donald and Goofy. It gives us no hints whatsoever of what the other possible Disney worlds that could be part of this, because it really doesn't show anything outside of the what was the world again that Sora's stuck in?
So it's called Quadratum, but in a
Quadrat.
way, if it's a realistic type of world. For those who do not recognize the background of that area, it's technically Shibuya in Tokyo. It's
Okay.
basically, so there's like Shibuya in Tokyo, but also if you play Kingdom Hearts 3, it is also still based on that like type of Quadratum world where Sora meets a character named Yozora, in like a video game character named Yozora, and Yozora is also like the background story is also based in Shinjuku, Tokyo, and I have a feeling that Sora and Yozora might have like a very deep connection within that type of story eventually. But the secret boss was technically Yozora, and Sora had to basically fight him. And if you lose against Yozora, Yozora basically freezes Sora, like it kind of like permanently freeze him, like in a frozen state. And Yozora kind of like implies that like this is for your own good kind of thing, and then like and it seals him into that type of world right there.
So do you think that this game is going to have the same format as the other games have, where they travel on the gummy ship to different Disney worlds and what have you, or could you see this being more of a taking the characters but putting them in a realism kind of world where you'll have Donald and Goofy and King Mickey and what have you, but we may not get the Disney worlds that we're used to seeing in the previous games?
A little bit different, because if you kind of look at it this way, I don't know if you ever watched Interstellar before.
Yes.
So Interstellar, you know that you know the main character goes through like the black hole type of like into the another fifth dimension type of world. So
Right.
you want to kind of like think of it as like Sora, who's been in this like Disney and like that in his own type of world right there, kind of disappears into a little bit different dimensional. So now he goes into like a further deep side of the dimension, into another side of like the dimensional world where everything is like a little bit realistic. But at the same time, I have a feeling that we might actually see some Disney characters and Disney IPs into the story. And I actually was kind of like talking with somebody, and I said, we might actually see some Star Wars and Marvel in this case right there. And I said, my money is actually on Mandalorian Grogu as like part of the IP that Sora may join up with into that world.
That would be cool.
And then another world is Guardians of the Galaxy instead of the Avengers, because I think Guardians of the Galaxy is like the safest IP to join in, rather having people to be confused with all these events. At this point, Avengers, there's so many characters right there and so many lores behind those characters. But at least like Guardians of the Galaxy is just like a group of like mischiefs within that type of group right there, with no like further story to be told. And also the cute characters such as like Baby Groot is like another fun way to have Sora to join up with, or summon Groot to join to summon Groot to fight against like your opponents, and that would be like another thing, or Rocket Raccoon to, blast things across the stage. And as for Mandalorian Grogu, since Star Wars like main franchise from episode through like not 1 through 9 is going to be like kind of a train wreck, I think Mandalorian is the Din Djarin as a main character is kind of like a new originality stepping point right there in between, and and just like helping him and Grogu is like a easy safe measure to just do that franchise only specifically right there instead.
That makes sense. I actually like that idea. I think honestly that would be a good set of characters for those particular franchises, and I think this would be the game to do that because of the realism that we get with Star Wars and Marvel. That it would fit in. It would fit in well. Let's see. We got some people in the chat here. We got Abby, Hollow Gelato Familia. Giant Peter Venture says Lucas is house sitting for George while he is in Florida. That's right, and that is my piano, that grand piano back there. So I like to waste away my sorrows by playing some key melodies on it. So let's see. We got John Make It Rain. And then we got Sean Narani says, this trailer is confusing because he was dreaming the whole time because besides Sora, the heartless creatures, and one scene with Goofy and Donald, I wouldn't know this is a Kingdom Hearts trailer. What say you on that?
For those people who do not recognize Kingdom Hearts, it technically will definitely feel like it's not a Kingdom Hearts trailer for those who are never into the franchise. But the moment, like for me, actually, when this trailer was revealed, like the first thing that I heard in Japanese and like the background, I was like, "Oh, this is a Kingdom Hearts 4." Like I just like recognized it right away. I was like, it'd be funny if they reveal 4 right after the Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3 like coming to Switch 2 or something like that. I said, yeah, I have a feeling that the fourth one's gonna be revealed right afterwards. There's no way that they're gonna like release Switch 2 and then not talk about 4. And then what do you know? They revealed the trailer right there. But for the people who do not recognize the game at all, obviously are gonna be like, how is this Kingdom Hearts trailer when this looks so different from its predecessors? And I completely understand why they would feel that way.
Yeah, I could see it too. Yeah, because even when I saw not even just this trailer, I remember seeing the little like end credit scene and the little teaser back then, and I'm like, whoa, okay, this is going to be a whole different kind of game. And then this trailer that they just released definitely solidified that. Peter says they can go back and do a 1.75, a 2.75, and a 3.5 and a 3.75. I'm for sure that they probably would do something like that. It would be very confusing, but like, I mean, they'd find any ways to kind of reboot the franchise and bring it back to new light, especially for, as Lucas was mentioning, like for the newer generation, because kids today may not know what Kingdom Hearts is. We grew up with it.
So that's the thing. I have a feeling that they might consider a remake of Kingdom Hearts 1, only because of like how old the game is. As you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake is like on its final conclusion. Like the third part is coming up next February 2027, and a lot of people are assuming that Tetsuya Nomura is going to be free from his schedule, no longer working on those remakes anymore, and will probably go right to Kingdom Hearts. But at the same time, a lot of people are asking, can we get like more Kingdom Hearts? And I have a feeling that he's considering that he canceled the new mobile games that were supposed to come out. He completely shut the projects down. So considering what has happened, I have a feeling that Square Enix might actually consider about bringing Kingdom Hearts 1 remake through 1 and 2 at least. Like into the like meeting with the current graphics expectation. But also, at the same time, he might also reveal another new like couple worlds in D23 this year. That's my expectation.
That actually was going to be my next question to you. Since we just got the teaser trailer, a lot of info is kind of vague. Can you see now this was a startup point for D23 in August? Could we possibly see an exhibit? Can we see maybe a whole presentation about the lore and the legacy of Kingdom Hearts that'll lead into more information at Kingdom Hearts 4?
Yes, I actually do think so. Like I actually, have somebody in the even bigger enthusiast for Kingdom Hearts and who's like super lore person. I mean, couple of creators have like said that they think that D23 this year might have some panels in D23 Expo where they will reveal Kingdom Hearts related stuff right there. And
I think that would be cool. I think honestly, as much as it would be cool to add it into like when if they were to talk about like even though it's not part of Epic Games, but it falls into like the video game world, I would like to see Kingdom Hearts get their own separate panel.
that's the thing because as you know, Josh DeMero really, really wants video game more video games for Disney, and he will kind of like slip words. Definitely wants the Fortnite and Epic Games and the metaverse for the Disney like the Disney universe itself. And while he's gonna talk about that, I have a feeling that he might slip out like some Kingdom Hearts 4 related stuff. And most likely he might also talk about more video game collaborations with Disney, franchise and everything to challenge against Universal and the Nintendo um, for the distant future. Because as you know, what is it? Universal already revealed that Star Fox was like a kind of cameo appearance right there, with and Zelda into their movies as well. So like Universal is going all out in video game investments with Nintendo. So I think Disney has found themselves that this is kind of like an alarming issue for themselves, for the box office because not only just box office but also like the theme park itself. So I think Disney might actually reach out other companies that might be interested in doing their own versions of it, like Sony or Capcom, or maybe like anything that might be outside of like Nintendo, if
And I
anything
think
there.
Kingdom Hearts would be a great fit for that to kind of go up against Universal with Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers and everything because one, it's Disney using their own IP. They're using their own worlds. Now they would have to kind of get something as far as like a business kind of deal with Square Enix, with Final Fantasy and what have you. But I'm for sure Disney can pull it off. And also, it falls into the realm of kind of that anime style, look and everything. So, yeah, I think honestly, if they were to kind of pull out the big guns to do something along the lines to kind of go up with Universal, I think, would be Kingdom Hearts. Because didn't Super Mario Galaxy just cross over the $1 billion mark?
Oh yeah, on definitely. And I think that I think that's the reason why like they decided to reveal Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer even though it's not even like fully ready for the game itself. Obviously they said that it's going to come out next year, but they didn't even specify exactly which date of the next year. So which means it's like Disney probably calls Square Enix, hey, we got a big challenger going. Can you rush this project or something? And then I'm pretty sure Square Enix is like, yeah, sure, we're gonna but can you guys tell us which IPs you're gonna bring into this game? Because obviously people didn't like the Kingdom Hearts 3 when you put too much IP into this game, and people were complaining about that there was too many Frozen into the series, which is kind of true because if you didn't know, people really hated Frozen in Kingdom Hearts 3. Because there was too much singing, again, like a Little Mermaid, and then there was too much too focused on the Disney story than the Kingdom Hearts characters itself. So it's just a lot of people felt that there needs to be a balance in right there. And many people actually liked Monsters Inc. in the Kingdom Hearts 3 though.
I did too. I actually did. I liked Monsters Inc. and I liked Big Hero 6, and I think the reason why I geared more towards them over Frozen and Tangled, because after you said that, and I never really like focused on it, but it really was true. It almost felt like they put beat for beat of the actual film into the video game, where the cutscenes were basically the big musical numbers. It was Elsa singing "Let It Go." It was, or what have you. Where what they did with the first Kingdom Hearts and even the second Kingdom Hearts, or I would even go as far as even with Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distances, they took the characters in their worlds. They took a little bit of the original storyline from the films, but they incorporated it around the story that was already being had with
Right.
Sora and the Heartless and everything. So it was an original story rather than just do beat for beat verbatim of the actual film itself. So I could definitely understand that. So I think for me now looking back at it, I think that's probably why subconsciously I leaned more towards Monsters Inc. and Big Hero 6 rather than Frozen or Tangled.
Right. So which series do you think that they're gonna actually consider about putting in?
Actually, that was going to be my question to you.
Okay. I,
Okay,
I mean, I can answer that, but like
you
I
say
think
yours. I'll think because I do like your idea of the Star Wars and Marvel, but I'm thinking like even outside.
so. Let's talk about IP version then. I believe that Moana is a very high potential as
Mm,
as an IP because if you think about it, Tekka as a like quote island villain is a nice way for like for the villains to like mind like put like a heartless type of like a dark theme into this like island trying to destroy like the other islands and Sora and Moana's it's their job to sail down and try to fight against it. I think that's a pretty good like a depth type of story right there with Maui as like a kind of like a summoning character to help Sora out along his journey right there. I think that's a pretty good unless they want to put Hey Hey in the as a as a summoning character instead. Then like the chicken just like kind of walks around and doesn't really do anything for you.
yeah, basically, sort of a rogue character.
Yeah.
I know I like that idea. I was thinking even maybe dabbling into because I know with Kingdom Hearts 3, and again, I know a lot of people had mixed thoughts on this, is what they did with Toy Story. Um, Maybe even diving into some of the Pixar um, stories, maybe
Yeah.
like with Up or The Incredibles.
Mm. I think Incredible would be the best candidate for Pixar, only because Syndrome is a I think is a perfect villain. Is like in that type of story right
In that
there.
type of story, yeah.
Yeah, and then when Syndrome, like tries to bring his like the Omni whatever that robot like the big sphere robot and trying to destroy the city, I think Sora and his pals can like help out the incredible teams to fight against it. And then with like Sora trying to like convince I guess Syndrome like like this is not how you become like a kind of a superhero kind of thing right there. Trying to turn his heart into to do like a better job or something. I think that it would be a pretty good concept, and I think that's something part of the original. Because if you remember The Incredibles, Syndrome, aka Buddy, never really like redeemed himself, and then he got like thrown into the plane shredder, and then quote died. I still think that he didn't die, but
I mean, technically, it's true. I mean, they didn't recover anything, so I mean, we don't we just assumed that he died. Where you never know, he could have,
yeah.
he could have been unscathed a little bit.
Yeah, so there's a big potential of the Incredible story, and then another one that I actually like was actually Wall-E as a
Mm,
story, because as you know, like technically Sora never really, if you are piloting a gummy ship and then you kind of stop in the middle like on his way through like a big Axiom ship right there,
mm.
you would technically help out Wally and Eve from rebelling against the control AI of the ship right there. I think that's a pretty cool concept right there.
That would be, and I think after Kingdom Hearts 3, because they kind of, they did Toy Story, they did Monsters Inc. They even had a little cameo with Remy, with like the recipes that you have to recover. Yeah, I could definitely see them going that route. I'm trying to think of no, this isn't no, this isn't Pixar, but what do you think of like the realm of Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph, I've been thinking about it, but it feels like Wreck-It Ralph wouldn't be like a main type of story. I think it would be more like a kind of a mini game where you'd probably have Sora to help, like
Sort of like what they
Vanellope.
did with Remy.
Yeah, yeah. So like try to help Vanellope build I guess like a candy car right there.
Okay.
And then if they actually do a Wreck-It Ralph story, I think it still works in a way because you're going into the Candyland, and then trying to fight against the King Candy and then the virus bugs right there along the way. I think that's another story that can work together.
Do you think that they would do any repetitive worlds with the franchises? For instance, do you think, like, even though that you said that a lot of people were not very happy with Frozen, do you think that they would return Frozen back and do this more of the storyline of Frozen 2?
Yeah, actually, was talking to somebody about it, and that person didn't like the idea, but I actually said, I think Frozen 2 works way better than the Frozen 1 in the Kingdom Hearts story, only because if you actually watch the second one, there were more outside of the depths of like the character to character. Instead, Anna actually like had to fight against the giants to destroy the dam right there, and then maybe Sora might have to fight the giant, and the Sora might have to fight the wave like the horse that was like giving hard time for Elsa at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think those or type of like character and like sort of a villainy type of characters have a better concept in that one than the Frozen one and for Kingdom Hearts. I think that fits better.
And what I love every time that we're bringing up the IPs, you're bringing up the villain, because that's a major part of, I think, what would be a great selection of the IP. And I feel like more so going down the line with the newer movies that Disney's making, the villains aren't how dare I say it, not
There's no super villains if that's what you're trying to say.
yeah. So I feel like when you look at the older catalog, like when they utilized Aladdin for Jafar, or Hercules with Hades, and the Little Mermaid with Ursula, those are like rough, tough villains. Like, so now moving forward, um I feel like that the selection could possibly be a little bit more bleak because of that. But I like that the selections that we are picking, you're finding a way, like, of how it would work. What do you say of Zootopia?
Uh, Zootopia. I actually think that Zootopia might actually work. There's well, obviously there's no actual like super villains, but at the same time, I think it can work like as if it was like Monsters Inc. type of in the Kingdom Hearts 3, where like the original villains kind of get involved. You have to fight the original villain instead of like a Zootopia villain type of right there. Where what was that sheep's name? Like the mayor like the
Yeah, I know who you're referring to. I can't remember her name.
let me just oh yeah, Mayor Bellwether. That was her name. So she was she could be like the like kind of villain that's behind the scene working with the original villains, trying to like do some kind of like a sinister type of stuff. But eventually, when she's like being on the run, Nick and Judy might be going after her. But at the same time, the original villain, who's like Sora and Donald and Goofy, has to fight the original villain to resolve the conflict. And that can kind of work right there in that type of concept. But like as I said, the fourth one can definitely do a better job as long as they don't put too much Disney-ish story like placed into it, and then try to bring like original characters also involved in it to alter the story. to make a better understanding that this game is primarily like Kingdom Hearts, not really Disney Hearts. Like
Right, exactly. And John Mega Rain says, I think doing a game would potentially take away from potential storylines for future Zootopia movies. What do you agree with that?
um no, I kind of disagree because as I said, like future Zootopia movies, Jared Bush has his own like ideas on how he wants to make the story. So I'm just like, since John has never actually played Kingdom Hearts games before, so he probably wouldn't understand how they develop these stories within like Disney IPs. So the Disney IPs in Kingdom Hearts has a alternative type of story, comparing to the original IP story. So in an example, like what is it? Little Mermaid, for example, um, the keyhole and then the Ariel storyline is not actually anywhere close to Little Mermaid plot line at the time of Kingdom Hearts 1. It was like just like a half point of it, and then it had its own original story. It had its own original plot line um, where Ursula didn't never met a Prince Eric, and then also Ariel never met Prince Eric. It was all just like underwater right there, and that was the whole part of the story. Just like Lion King as well too. Simba met Sora and the other crews before Kingdom Hearts 2, where his planet got just blown up in Kingdom Hearts 1. So Simba was a summoning creature and then just like helped out Sora along his journey. So in Kingdom Hearts 2, Simba recognizes Sora and his team, and they go on a journey to become so that he could become a king to fight against Scar. So like they have their own originality of the story. But in the Kingdom Hearts 3, like for example, Tangled and Frozen, it was all just like full 80 to 90% all out Disney at that time. Like there was like no originality of the story. There may have been like some like original villains appearing like back and forth a little bit, but there was no actual like alternate type of story to get involved within, to alter his like have his own original type of story. Especially Frozen was just all like 80 to 90%.
Oh my gosh, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 3 with my son, and oh my god, he would get so annoyed with the Frozen world because he was like, okay, we go up the mountain, then back down. We go up the mountain, we go back down. Like the whole entire gameplay was going up and down, back and forth of the northern mountains, and it was just like, and again, with the beat for beat of the movie. Don't get me wrong, he enjoyed the movie when we went to go see it. Um, in theaters, but yeah, I think like in a game form, I think if you tie an actual movie storyline to a video game completely, because even if you go back and you look at older like SNES games and Sega games that are based off of films or animated movies, it's even different.
Right.
It's different to the gameplay. Even though it moves along with the storyline, it's completely different.
Right.
Sean Arani says, Josh seems big in gaming. Could you see them buying a company like Square Enix, even though I know Japanese companies are very cautious about companies outside of the country buying them? With gaining popularity of anime, I feel a Kingdom Hearts anime TV show or movie would be a perfect way for Disney to get into the anime world.
Actually, they were trying to do like a Disney Plus type of Kingdom Hearts TV show before, and then I think that got canned pretty fast. I think there was like a rumor about it, and then people were not very happy about hearing that. You know, can you imagine live action Kingdom Hearts into Disney Plus? I just can't imagine it. I think that it would be worse than like majority of the Netflix TV shows that get canceled after the first season. I
Could
just
you, could you see it as a like computer animated CGI series?
yeah, I guess
Or do you think it would tarnish more of the game?
as long as it's like faithful to the how the game was game like the CGI trailer was made, I think it would work. to a perspective. But if they do something like completely different from what fans wanted, then I think that that would be like the biggest disaster. But again, I have no faith in Hollywood's like doing a faithful type of like live action or whatever, the CGI remake or whatever they do. There was no faith in a lot of the things that they invest in. I don't know if like it's like a kind of like a pattern to them. It's like, do they like intentionally want to sabotage anime and like video games into like a Hollywood or something? It's like a pattern for them. I
That
just
that is true. It's almost like if you want to do something with anime, I'm perfectly fine with it. I think Disney needs to do something of that because I have to admit, I really have to admit, I remember you mentioned way back when you were saying that they should try to incorporate One Piece into the theme park world. And I'm like, what is this One Piece? I really didn't know too much of it. And you were describing it to me, and I'm like, I really don't see how that would fit well in the theme park world. But man, when they brought it to Universal Fan Fest with the meet and greets and the live stun show, now I can't unsee it. So, but the way that they go about doing it is they let the anime still be the anime. I feel like if you take the anime and you're right, and you kind of Hollywood size it and kind of restructure it, then it becomes anime light. It's very diluted. You have
right,
to let it be for what it is.
right,
So I think if they were to do that, I agree with you. But let it be for what Kingdom Hearts is. Don't bring it in where you're going to say, okay, I have a specific vision for it. Let's try this. Let's try making it different. It's like you do that, and it's like, I appreciate the risk, but I wouldn't go that route.
right. Also, another thing is that I actually, now I think about it, what if Kingdom Hearts 4 actually had Avatar into
Oh,
into
that's interesting.
the fourth one? I have a feeling that like because Avatar is such a popular franchise right there, I think like having Sora and Donald and Goofy like turn into like the blue blue Navi like characters trying to help Sam no not Sam, Jake, yeah, Jake, and Neytiri, like and the fight against humans. I think that would be a pretty interesting story right
Well,
there.
correct me if I'm wrong, but there are several Pandora video games. I think they did quite well in the video game world, correct?
Right. So if you play the Ubisoft Avatar, that the Frontiers of Pandora, it is one of the best successful game that Ubisoft actually made. And obviously, like a lot of people kind of like can't give like the most cringeous face because it's Avatar. Some people don't like it. It's like
Right.
why would you make a game like that? But in that game, Ubisoft that made, you actually create your own Navi character, and then the story is actually in between the first and the second right there. So like you kind of understand like how the concept goes, and then eventually like it delves really into the world of Pandora. You're flying around in Pandora, you're exploring it, and I think that is a reason why I said, you know what, I wouldn't mind if Kingdom Hearts actually like considered about doing a story based on that actually.
Do you think that's what maybe delayed all this, like with the releasing of the teaser trailer or the information or the game itself? Because once these IPs were um, acquired by Disney, that made them go back and say, okay, well, now this is part of the Disney catalog. Now let's kind of restructure and we rework this whole storyline to fit these in.
I don't think so. I think it's actually more of a development issue than the IP issues. If you think about it, because like in between this was like a big issue with Kingdom Hearts 3 as well too, because the original trailer, that the first trailer they showed for Kingdom Hearts 3, it was actually a different engine that they originally were developing on, and then eventually the newest of the trailer when it came out, they decided to rehaul the entire game development and to bring it into the new engine. And then when they were doing it with the new engine, I think that was like the part where they ended up like rushing a lot of things and then like shortening the game's development right there. And that's the reason why the Kingdom Hearts 3 it was like, very underwhelming for the game that people have been waiting for such a long time. And then I think that also the fourth one is also another. They're having another situation like that where I think they're trying to overhaul the original game development concept into a new engine, and I think that's where there's like a development delays and then like trying to change the concepts again like back and forth, and that was like the issue because if you watch the recent trailer right now and then the trailers from the very first trailer that they were trying to show, there's a significant difference right there. Like some of the game like the gameplay and then the frame rate and then the style has like changed a little bit right there. So I think the recent trailer, I think this is their actual final concept that they're gonna go with, and they're gonna try to um finalize it before next year at least.
Okay. Now, being that you had mentioned Avatar, I know this is probably going to be a far-fetched question, but since Avatar would fit in the realm actually with Kingdom Hearts because it's its own world, its own planet, and Kingdom Hearts is around going to like the different planets and what have you. But because Avatar falls under the Fox acquisition, do you think that Disney would be bold enough by utilizing more of the Fox properties other than Avatar incorporated into Kingdom Hearts, like
Uh,
Planet of the Apes or Alien or
Definitely not Alien, only because I think that's a little bit rated R type of direction right there. And Planet of the Apes, I can see that happening, but at the same time, how they would approach that story, I think is really a debatable question. I think what they sh- I think the best idea was like the story of Caesar might be the best option to go with because I actually watched the Planet of the Apes trilogy, like the story, like the Caesar arc, and I think it's probably one of the best arcs that I've watched for Planet of the Apes series. Even with the predecessor and even now, like Andy Serkis as Caesar has never ceased to amaze me on how he acted in that character. And
I
then
agree. I
yeah,
agree. Andy Serkis is like the champion of like facial recognition of like a character study and yeah, he's like top dog with that. Um before we get actually into the trailer because I do want to watch the trailer. Um Kind of going back a little bit with the characters and the villains. Now, with the storyline with Maleficent and Pete, they kind of developed their own kind of side story where they kind of went on their own. Like in the first one, Maleficent kind of like was the head mistress force with all the Disney villains, and then moving into the second one and into the third one, they're kind of on their own kind of thing. Well, not even really on the third. I think they're only shown in the end or are they in Kingdom Hearts 3? I forget. It's been a while.
yeah, she was in the Kingdom Hearts 3. But obviously, she's like more like kind of like a side villain than the main villain. Like
Yeah.
they became like a little bit more she's like a kind of like as seen as like starting to become like a little bit more anti-hero type of like going forward with the second one where she originally was like a villain, but she doesn't like how organization 13 or nobody like nobody's were like kind of like putting her as like a side cast, I guess. So she like takes that as like a kind of like hurting her pride. So she ends up aiding Sora like not in a good way, but also at the same time she's like, I don't want you, I don't care if you win. I just want like Organization 13 to fall apart kind of thing right there. She wants to be
Yeah.
the kind of like I want to be the bad guy, but these people are like taking away my job.
Do you see her and Pete returning?
Yes, of course. They're technically like a main type of like very important IP villains of the story. I have a feeling that Hades might come back. So, because it's kind of funny because James Wood actually like posted on his social media, and like he was like kind of like m- making a lot of compliments about Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. He like posted multiple of them.
Oh,
So I have a feeling that they probably Disney probably asked James Woods to revoice Hades into the cast right there, and I also have a feeling Maleficent will come back, and then possibly Ursula maybe. That's how I feel about it. Um, and then Pete is definitely coming back. Obviously, he's also kind of like the bully character of like on Disney side of the story. But I do have a feeling that I'm not maybe possibly Disney's like supervillain might actually show up maybe like eventually. Uh, I don't know which supervillain, but I like there's all like so many supervillains in Disney franchise, so they might actually bring somebody along into the story. Jafar is already dead though.
yeah. Now, we don't really know too much about it, but they did drop some concept art, not concept art, but actually real life cell animation of the new Disney animation movie that's coming out um, this winter, Hexed.
Hmm.
We don't really know too much about the storyline. Is there going to be a core villain? What is the storyline with it? Do you think, even though that it's a brand new movie, they haven't released anything, but they were in kind of communications with the game developers, that do you think that they could have incorporated Hext, so by the time the game comes out possibly next year and the movie's coming out this November, or do you think that would be too much of a risk because they wouldn't know too much of how Hext is going to do at the box office?
It's too much of a risk. I mean, we don't even know like what the story is like, and then we don't even know what this villain is like. I
Mhm.
don't even know if a Hex actually has a supervillain either. That's just like that's like one of those like things that I would not probably like throw into the story. Maybe Syndrome might be the supervillain of the story. Who knows? And then if you think about it, what's that other character? I can't really think of a name, but like obviously, oh yeah, Doctor Facilier might be like a supervillain of the
Oh
story
yeah, that's
because
right. I was trying to run through all the Disney princesses and I forgot Tiana escaped me.
yeah. And then you know what? Also like we still haven't seen like what is it, Haunted Mansion, like as like a cameo appearance too. So we might actually see Haunted Mansion as well too. Like the three ghosts, hitchhikers, I guess. They might actually show up just like a kind of like a cameo appearance right there.
That is true because in Kingdom Hearts 3, they did kind of implement some of the ride system and ride vehicles as part of Sora's like super charms, like part of his powers. So I think that would be really cool to kind of implement more of the park storyline, integrating it into the Kingdom Hearts
It's
franchise.
it's kind of interesting because somebody actually complained that was like the worst part of this Kingdom Hearts game. Like they didn't like the idea of like putting like the park rise into the game right there. And I can understand why, but at the same time, like how bad what like did you not like it? I just can't like seem to recollect like if it was that annoying or
It
obnoxious.
wasn't really that annoying. I thought it was actually kind of cool. I thought it was like an extra add-on that we're not used to seeing. Um, there were some issues that I had with Kingdom Hearts 3, but that wasn't one of them. I felt like one of the things was I felt like Kingdom Hearts 3, it was played a little bit too safe in the development. I felt like the gameplay went by a little bit too fast. Um,
Yeah, as I said, I think what happened was that they were reaching the deadline, and
yeah.
they probably because they overhauled everything and then they had to redo everything from the scratch. I think that's where the development time and the development like money and everything like were coming to a problematic situation. You have to understand that the time that Kingdom Hearts 3 was like released, they Final Fantasy and then Square Enix were actually having a financial issues, and they spent so much money that they lost so much money out of everything. So like by that time, they were having a severe crisis, and they had to drop a lot of projects out of that.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, so like in those kind of situations, I think that was the main reason why they just like kind of like, oh well, you know what, we're gonna have to like put a end to whatever the future Kingdom Hearts 3 development in this case. And then the same goes for the mobile game as well too. They just like decided, hey, we're going nowhere with this. We'll just cancel it, drop the project, and then just focus on Kingdom Hearts 4 and go from there. And I think that was the case right there.
Yeah, and I think honestly, right now that was probably the best route to go. I think when you're focusing on how many different variants and of the franchise at once, then they start to suffer in the execution. So yeah, if I had to pick and choose, I'd be like, okay, well, let's cut out the mobile games right now. We don't need them. Let's focus on the main core of the story, which would be Kingdom Hearts 4. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so I think why don't we take a look at the trailer? Because as I said, I watched it a couple times, but I want to watch it again so I can like really get like a in-depth kind of thing. So we'll watch the trailer. It's like a minute and a half, and then we will come back and talk about it. Here we go.
この世界の構造はとても複雑で、私たちが定義する光と闇を具現化したものは存在しなかった。でもそれを定義するものがこの世界に来たことで、この世界にも私たちの定義する闇が現れた。
All right. So I think it's I think it's interesting now that I'm like watching it more like of how in depth the graphics are, because now you go back and you look at the original Kingdom Hearts and of like how far we came with like game development and technology from the year 2002 to now 2026, but it's going to be released probably in 2027. I assume that Japan and the US will have separate release dates as they usually do, correct?
No, I think this is going to be exactly the same day.
Oh, like worldwide global release.
If they separate it, I think they are gonna get extreme backlashes out of this. There's no doubt about it, because
that's true, because of also of how social media and people post things and leak stuff. I think they would want everyone to be on the same playing field. That is true.
Right. And with the way it's going, like they've been putting this game way too long. Like they're delayed, and like they don't really reveal anything. So trying to say that they're gonna release Japan first and then the US after, even with the social media leak or not, like people on the outside of Japan are not going to be very happy if they get a separate release date.
In general, do you think people are still interested? Like I'm interested. I'm invested in this franchise. I always will be. But the bigger percentage of population, do you think from it being, delayed and it being taken, this long just to get this teaser trailer, and it's not really giving a whole lot of information on, anything, do you think people are still invested.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people are invested. Like, I can't really speak for the new generation people, but definitely people who's been like, been in the whole like the Kingdom Hearts like franchise right there. They are, I always check the social media posts, and everyone's like really hyped about it. There's no question about it. But like for the people like who are normies, don't really care about Kingdom Hearts as much. Obviously, they're gonna be like it's just a trailer. Like like there's no like real like gameplay into the trailer right there. But I think they're saving the best for the last, and that my money is actually on D23 Expo right there.
I
That's the
agree.
biggest trailer that they're gonna show, I guess, with the way it's going.
Yeah, I feel like because as we had talked about before, Josh is now, entering in the realm of games and technology, and then the collaboration with Epic Games, and that falls into the category of experiences. And I think that we've all kind of discussed that, this year's parks presentation isn't going to be, it's going to be big, but it's not going to be as big with the announcements like it was 2 years ago, because they're going to talk about the projects that are already being worked on, up to date stuff. So they're going to have things that kind of fill in those gaps. So if you have it as an experience showcase and you're including the game portion of that in the company, I think honestly to have a full arena at the Honda Center and you drop an actual like trailer or some gameplay footage of Kingdom Hearts 4 and give us the actual release date, I think that would make up for it. I really do. Let's see. Sean Narani asks, should Disney make a Traverse Town or something in the Kingdom Hearts world in the parks, and what rides would they make if they did?
Definitely gummy ship simulation, probably. I think that's really the only attraction that Kingdom Hearts actually can give. Otherwise, it's just like Keyblade and like I don't think Keyblade simulation would be like anything interesting for an attraction. Like not a lot of people, I think they tried that for the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, where you were using like a lightsaber trying to do simulation, I think. And I heard that was like that experience was not exactly a lot of people were interested in that.
Can you see them doing just like a sort of like what Sean asked of like Traverse Town, like do an original Kingdom Hearts world as like a walk around world, where you like take in like the details of walking through it, and maybe where you could sell keyblades, and like how they do at Galaxy's Edge with the lightsabers, or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with the wands, that you have a keyblade and it activates certain keyholes in the land itself, as it being like more interactive. Can you see them doing that?
I mean, I already interacted the last time I was at Disneyland with the Disneyland 70th anniversary thing right there.
Yeah,
I think that was like the coolest like gimmick that they have ever done so far.
I agree.
I think they should do that, like like go around the parks and they use it's like a miniature version of Keyblade and go around, and the kids can actually like interact with it. But obviously, my biggest like dislike for Disneyland's 70th anniversary one is the way the handle and everything. It's just so bad. Like, hold on a second. Let me show you this right now, because I got this the actual like the bigger version of this.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you are able to like hold this, is my question. How do you hold this? Oh, no, I have to like turn up the background. But how do you hold it like this? Wow. I can't hold it. Like, this is supposed to be like a Kingdom Hearts life-size version of it, and this handle absolutely sucks. Like, I can't. Like, somebody says, well, why don't you like hold this like this? But that's not where you're holding the Keyblade. This is where you're supposed to hold the Keyblade. It's just like, how do you want me to handle this? Like, it's just like, how do you? You know, if Sora was holding this, he's just gonna be like,
Well, he probably would drop it all over.
No, he just wouldn't even bother holding this. He's just like, you know what? Screw this world. I'm going to the world.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was more of the gimmick of like just having it like as a display. But yet I do see your point because it is interactive. So it's like if you're going to have it as an interactive key, you should have it where it's like easy to maintain and manage. But yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I think honestly, if they were to make like Kingdom Hearts keyblades and you have like different variations of them of how they make them in the game, like they have like the Nightmare Before Christmas one, they have the Lion King one, like I think that would be really cool. Or you can kind of customize a keyblade, sort of like how you do with the lightsabers.
You know that's the thing. Like, there's so many keyblades in this franchise. I think there are like over 50 keyblades right now, like with the mobile game, and then the 1, 2, Birth by Sleep, 3. So I think there's like over 50 keyblades. So if they were to sell like a legacy keyblade right there, where I think that alone itself is that they're gonna make so much money out of it. And I don't even know if everyone's gonna have enough like room to even put like all 50 keyblades into their house shelves. If you have that amount of room, like by God Almighty, I are a lot of respect for you, but I just don't think that I can actually hold that much keyblade at home either. But like I said, there's definitely a lot of potential to do and I think Kingdom Hearts World, I think there should be like a 3 different town right there, like to go back and forth. One Traverse Town, the other one Twilight Town, and then the third one Scala Kylum from the Kingdom Hearts 3. That's like a Scala Kylum is like a center of it.
Yeah. Or wasn't there what is the like the Keyblade graveyard, or like the world that never was?
Yeah, but I don't think they should like do like the world that never was, or like the graveyard, only because it's just like a kind of like a waste of space. I think there needs to be like you want to make a world where people can have like a lounge or like walk around.
Yeah, like there's like more detail. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so like the Traverse Town a little bit more closer to like a food restaurant type of district where you can eat food right there. The Twilight Town a little bit more activities and you're flying to like go around the places, and then they have a Twilight Town actually has like a gondola, so you can take the gondola to a different park or something.
And can you imagine the sales on that sea salt ice cream?
Yeah, that in Japan, the sea salt ice cream is very popular among the fans right there. So it's I've actually asked the Walt Disney World cast members, when are you guys gonna have a sea salt ice cream? And some people don't even know what that is. They're like,
wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because even right now, Kingdom Hearts really doesn't have a presence in the parks. The only time is actually during Halloween for Oogie Boogie Bash. They have a little Kingdom Hearts photo op where they bring out Mickey, Donald, and Goofy in their Kingdom Hearts attire of how they're dressed in the game.
Right.
But that's it. I remember back in the day too, they had Sora come out, but it was only like, it wasn't during Halloween time. It was like when the first Kingdom Hearts was like premiering, and it was like he only came out like a couple times, and then we never saw him again.
I think trying to find the cast member for Sora is like very difficult, I guess, because it has to be like kind of like a teenage type of a boy, but at the same time you're trying to get a teenage type of boy, the voice has to be like the teenage gruff type of voice, but like you can't really find that, so it has to be a female cast member to do that work.
I mean, they do find like cast members like for like Big Hero 6. So I guess they can kind of fall into that kind of line, I would think.
Otherwise, you get like the Sora in a puberty, like that. That scene and the Chip and Dale, the where Peter Pan got so much puberty that he just became like all gruffy, like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like that middle-aged spread. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, so you would see Sora in the middle-aged spread with like all the like the zits and like the beards that grow apart.
That would be funny. That would be funny. I mean, that would be sad, but that would be funny.
Yeah. So like, what other video game franchise do you think that Disney might be able to like consider about doing? Because like since Nintendo and Universal have their own thing right now, so what other IP do you think like video game IP that do you think that Nintendo should be going for? I mean, Disney should be going for. Is my question.
Like outside of like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what would be a good team, because I mean Nintendo is pretty. I mean they're pretty stacked with like the gaming and with their IP. I don't know, like what would you pick to go up against Nintendo?
I would say Monster Hunter from Capcom.
Capcom.
I know that Universal has been like kind of like trying to like work with Capcom to bring Resident Evil into their Halloween Horror Nights and stuff like that, but they never really went with the Monster Hunter because like I actually like was like talking about this on social media that Monster Hunter is like a perfect candidate for Disney Animal Kingdom Park, because Monster Hunter is basically like there's like dragons, dinosaur type of creatures, like a fur animal type of creatures, and the theme of the Monster Hunter is actually like you are a hunter going out there to kill any like creatures that may like be problematic to the ecosystem of the world, trying to save like other creatures from being like being unbalanced type of the ecosystem. So that's why the hunters are out there to like slay certain type of creatures. And then at the same time, like on the side of the story, like you cook like amazing type of foods right there into the scene right there with the skillets and like a big steaks on an iron skillet, and then they show that into the game right there. So I feel that Monster Hunter is a very good candidate if they were to replace the Dinoland USA, and then they want to try to bring some kind of like dragon or animal like dinosaur type of theme
like
into the
kind of have
park.
like that Beastly Kingdom kind of aspect.
Yeah. Because a lot of people say that like certain things don't work in Disney Animal Kingdom, but at the same time, you look at like Pandora right there, which is completely unrelated to like any part of the Animal Kingdom right there. Technically and aliens and the ecosystem. So if you're gonna do that, then why not just put the since people don't like Zootopia and Disney Animal Kingdom, then why don't you just put that Monster Hunter in there, because the Monster Hunter is technically saving the ecosystem of like the the creatures, and then like trying to hunt down like any problematic creatures, and then and also like a food thing is also like is also a big thing in Disney Animal Kingdom if you think about it, because Satuli Canteen is really good.
Yes.
And then also Yak and Yeti is also pretty good, and then the Tiffins are pretty good, and I know some people don't like Rainforest Cafe, but I actually like Rainforest Cafe in Disney.
I do too. Guilty. I'm the same with it.
And then as Dinoland USA didn't really have like a phenomenal foods right over there, but at the same time, I think Tropical America is gonna get another like really good, like Colombian or like South American type of cuisines probably down there once it opens. So. Like Disney Animal Kingdom is technically the second Epcot in my personal opinion. Like,
I could see that.
Yeah,
I think honestly they're both unique in that sense, where you don't see those kind of parks in any other Disney resort.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like Joe Rohde technically brought that park into like a realism type of like an Asia theme as well as an Africa theme right there. Because if you think about it, like if you go to Epcot, you obviously see like a lot of like the modern urban world right there, but you don't really see like what it really feels like living in Tibet, or what it really feels like living in India or Thailand. And the Disney Animal Kingdom actually brings that into a reality right there. I think that's also the reason why you don't really see Tibet or Thailand into the World Showcase in the Epcot, is because Joe Rohde actually kind of brought that into Disney Animal Kingdom.
That is true. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, other than like Pandora and Dino Land, which is now going to become Tropical Americas, that it's part of another region in the in the world. That really now Pandora is going to be the only out of worldly land in Animal Kingdom. I think the remaining part of the park is basically in real world culture.
Yeah, that's the only way I see it because I mean Disney Animal Kingdom is just like it's slowly like phasing out of like the animals only and stuff if you think about it, because Rafiki has been replaced with the Bluey attractions. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people have a very mixed feelings about that, but you have to think about it like Disney kind of needs a Bluey in a way itself to bring more guests into that park. Disney Animal Kingdom has been like kind of like suffering with guests and the attendance wise outside of Pandora. If you look at the Kilimanjaro Safari, they don't have that many people as they used to, and then Kali Rapids is not as like popular as to like Tiana's Bayou Adventure or
I think Cali River Rapids is eventually going to become something else. I don't know if they'll keep the ride system for it, but I think it's probably eventually going to become something different than what it is.
That's how I feel too. I think a lot of people are thinking that it might be Moana's River Adventure or something like that. But that we'll see when that happens, I guess. But another one is like what is it? Expedition Everest hasn't really fixed their Yeti either. So like, you see yourself that like the line is like not as big as the rest of the attraction. Everyone loves to go to the Flight of Passage, and then they feel like, okay, I think I had enough for the park for one day. And
yeah, you just go to Pandora, and then they're like, okay, what else is there to do in this park? Let's leave. It's like, it's much more than that, and I think that's where a lot of people when they think of a theme park, they confuse it with an amusement park, where it's like ride, roller coaster, throw ride. It's like these parks are more than just rides. They're experiences, but not even in a ride. It's an experience of just walking through a land and getting to know different spaces, whether it's fictional or non-fictional, and I think that's where a lot of people say, and I get it, kids aren't going to understand that, but it's like, but even when it comes to adults and they're like, there's nothing to do in this park, it's like, I could make a full day out of it.
If anything, like Disney Park itself, I mean the Animal Kingdom Park itself, it has always been more than just a like the riding park. It has been like you explore around, you look at animals, and then you like understand. Like it's like a zoo, but at the same time, there are some like attraction rides that you can enjoy. But it has always been like more focused about zoo. And my biggest issue with the what is it, Kilimanjaro Safari, is that there has been lesser animals to look at than the original times back in 2010 to 2012. And most of the times, like when you're riding it and then you kind of like expect the lions are going to be right up there. There's not enough lions as they used to, or at least lions are like less active to like show around. And then some of the animals are like such as elephants, or there are barely a lot more elephants nowadays too. So that's like my biggest issue is like if you're gonna try to make it into zoo, with the animal attractions, do a better job. That's my question, and it's my suggestion for Disney. And the Tropical Americas, and I know a lot of people are feeling concerned because they feel that it's going to be more like a carnival theme park than bringing animals into it. Why not bring more like South American and the Central American animals right there, toucans or like a sloth or like any of those type of animals to be in that attraction area. There needs a little bit more love for Disney Animal Kingdom, because it's technically my first park to visit back in 2010. and I think that's where I fell in love with this, Walt Disney World itself. Because
I agree with you. I think Epcot and Animal Kingdom for me, because they are so profoundly different than a typical Disney castle park or a Disney studio park. We always have those, around the world, but Epcot and Animal Kingdom are so unique that I don't think that we'll ever get a theme park like that again. And I think even that's why a lot of people gear more towards Tokyo Disney Sea. It is a completely different style of theme park.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love this from John. As you get older, it gets easier to do less things in a longer amount of time. I need a T-shirt of that.
Yeah, I agree with John on that. Really.
And then Sean Arani says, I don't think it would really work, but it is funny to think about Kingdom Hearts in the Muppet world.
I think it would work. I kind of can imagine Donald, Goofy, and Sora walking around, and then those two old people are just like mocking the hell out of those three right there. It's like, hey, look, it's that weird kid with the talking duck and a dog again, and they just like laugh at each other.
That would be funny. That would be funny. I mean, they've done far-fetched, worlds and characters. I mean, I still think they could still do the Muppets.
Yeah.
In a bizarre way.
Yeah, I think it can be done. I think it's more like there'll be more like a cameo appearance than actually join, like, visit their world and like trying to do something. I think it's like, you go into like a main town and then you see like these like characters like especially Miss Piggy, and then you're doing like a small like task of quest for her or something like that. And then while you're walking around, and then these old people are like, hey, it's that weird kid with the big key again. Like,
yes.
Like you got any more holes to fill?
Oh my gosh, Statler and Waldorf would say something like that. They would. But I actually like. What do you think of just Capcom in general? Like you like, do you think like Disney and Capcom as like a full like franchise kind of deal, do you think would be good for a long haul up against Nintendo?
I think it would work only because of Wreck-It Ralph. If you actually watch Wreck-It Ralph right there, Ralph, Zangief was actually Zangief and what is it? It was technically viewed as a villain into the story right there, but he's not really a villain. He was never really a villain, but like they brought him into a villain into the movie, and I was like, you're not a villain. What are you talking about? and then yeah, but it's like, but also at the end credits right there, you see Ralph breaking down the cars at the Street Fighter world right there with Ryu and Ken being involved. I think that Street Fighter can involve some way into Disney as a collaboration as well too. The only issue is that as I mentioned, I think Universal's like kind of on a focus on trying to talk it out with Capcom to bring Mega Man and also Resident Evil. Now, I have a feeling that Universal's trying to do like a Avengers, like a projects or something right here with the Super Smash Brothers. So you're gonna see like Mario like going around and visiting like Mega Man World is like, hey Mega Man, I got a job for you. I like to start the Avengers Initiative.
I mean, I was a huge fan of Mega Man growing up. I used to play the video games. I played Mega Man. I played Mega Man X. I watched the television series. I know it only lasted like 2 seasons, but I absolutely loved that show.
There was been a joke about me saying like, what if they actually make a live action Mega Man, but it's like you don't see the Mega Man with like the buster right there, but he uses a pistol around and they shoot things like in that video game cover where he's like the grown ass like Mega Man guy, old Mega Man guy, like shooting pistols at people.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, I could see them doing something like that because I think it would be kind of cringy. Like if they did a live action of like what Mega Man really is.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, what was your thoughts of Masters of the Universe?
I haven't watched this, so I'm not gonna really say that. But
Okay.
I've actually said that if they actually don't do the Hey song right there in that movie, I said that it automatically gets 1 out of 10.
Wow. So what is as far as like even though you didn't see the movie, but I'm for sure you saw the trailer. As far as like the graphics go and what have you, do you see it as
I mean, it looks like visually good as a Dungeons and Dragons. That's just how I feel. I mean, like as I said, like I don't, I never really watched Masters of the Universe as much as I did when I was a kid, so I can't really judge how good the movie is as to the animated story. I kind of watched the remake back in the when it was on Cartoon Network, but yeah, but I heard that the remake was not actually as good as the old original classic, so I can't
yeah,
really.
I think the classic was the best in my opinion.
So I said, what, when I watch this movie, I'm not gonna like really judge it too fully and compare it between like the original because obviously, every time when there's like when they remake something into live action, it always hasn't been faithful, and people like kind of always like say that they're disappointed and they're let down about it. And that's how it was for Transformers movie when Michael Bay did it too. So it's just like everyone always complains about Shia LaBeouf like ruining the movies or something like that. And then, but I don't know. But I did say that like because of that meme music video with the whole like that song right there. I said that if that song is not in the movie, then I'm just gonna give automatically 1 out of 10 because if that's I think that's like the only thing that I find like a good meme out of out of that movie.
Okay.
I guess you watched this, so
I did. I'm trying to remember if that was in there. I do remember the soundtrack was pretty good. I think I enjoyed the soundtrack a little bit more than the movie itself. So
oh okay. I mean, again, like I said, I haven't really like thought about watching it because I know that there are like really other good movies as of right now, like the Backrooms. I heard that is really good.
Backrooms is good. Obsession.
Yeah, I want to watch Obsession as well too, and then what other movies? Like there's like really good movie this year. I know I actually recently watched I paid and watched what is it, Project Hail Mary, and
Very good movie.
I like that was really good. I can't believe how well they did that movie, and that I think I wouldn't mind if they ever like this like some kind of sequel of the Project Hail Mary if they ever do it or something like that. But that movie was just like really good. And then I also watched Exit 8, which is also really good too.
Oh, okay. We just recently saw Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. That was actually a really good movie. I actually enjoyed it. Sean Narani says, "Have Kingdom Hearts gone into the Moana world?" No, they have not. But Lucas had mentioned that he feels like that would be a top contender in the next for the Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, I think that Moana is definitely. I have a feeling there's a 95% and 98% guarantee that it's gonna be added into Kingdom Hearts 4. There's no question about it. Now the question is it going to be the live action one or is it going to be the animation one? I can't really say. I hope it's not a live action one because ever since I've watched that live action trailer, I was like, oh good God, I am not watching this. I just like put my head down. I'm like, oh good God, I am not watching this live action movie. This is so awful. Like I just like kind of like rubbing my forehead out of it.
Yeah, like I get that like Dwayne Johnson like has this thing where it's like no one else could be Maui but me. I respect that. But the way that they have him with the fake muscles and the tattoos and the hair, it was like I don't know. I just feel like they could have done that in a much better way. I'm just saying.
I don't know how you can do this in a much better way when he wants to be the Maui himself. I just don't understand. Like like I get that you want to be Maui, but everyone already knows you're Maui anyways from the animation. Like, why do you need to be Maui in live action? Is my question.
Who would you pick? I know who I would pick.
I have no idea who I would want.
I know he would be kind of typecast, and I don't know if he would do it, but I would actually do Jason Momoa.
No, I wouldn't do Jason Momoa. I love him and like as much, but I feel like he's not sized for Maui. Maui has to be like really like.
So you would actually have him like how he is, like more wide.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone wants him to be, like a big boned, like Samoan character right there. I think that's like the biggest.
I think who you would get. I don't know, maybe like one of the. Well, I mean, Dwayne Johnson, it was a wrestler, but maybe like another wrestler. Aren't there the Samoan brothers from WWE?
There's a lot of like Samoan actors. I think. Like,
I mean, technically, you can get an original person too. It doesn't have to be someone well known.
yeah. I think there was one in the. What is it? John Twee?
Okay, yeah, John McElrain saying a Samoan sumo wrestler.
No, John Twee is actually from what is it? The Shazam. As a like the adoptive father, like foster father.
Oh,
in that role.
The big guy from Hawaii 5-0 back in the day. The Rock used to be on the show. And then also John says Project Hail Mary needs to win some Academy Awards. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think Project Hail Mary is probably the best sci-fi movie I've seen since Interstellar, and it is very close to like how the realistic as it can be for like I guess sci-fi like space wise. So I would definitely agree with that. But yeah, I don't know. Like the Moana live action movie, I feel like it's too soon. Is my thing.
I agree with you. I think honestly, because it's only been 10 years, I don't think it's enough. I think it's an easy cash grab because I mean Moana is very popular. So to bring it in a live action form, people's gonna go see it. And I think they announced either yesterday or today, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote an original song for the live action that both Ali'i Cravalho and the new actress that's playing Moana, I guess it's like a duet. It's probably gonna be at the end credits that they'll probably play it.
I mean, Miranda has, he's a good composer, so I have no doubt that the song will nail it down. But I think that was like also the biggest issue with the Moana 2, because he didn't actually work on Moana 2, and a lot of people felt that was like the letdown of the music. And obviously, if you remember, he ended up working for Mufasa, where he kept people kept singing about the brother thing. So it's just like
well, and because Moana 2 was really not supposed to be a movie, it was supposed to be a series. And they kind of merged it all together in one and made it a sequel, and it ended up becoming $1 billion movie.
You know what? Making it into a movie was a genius idea, in my personal opinion.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
kind of glad that they didn't turn it into a series, because like.
Oh yeah, because it would have been. I mean, it would have been good, but I think it would have been. It would have been. It would have been it. It would have been finished. I feel like they gained more money, and it really shows how much popular Moana is. And I think even after the live action, I think they'll do a Moana 3 where it will be focused on a theatrical release.
Yeah. I mean, they already confirmed that they're actually working on 3. So, and then if you actually watch the second one, they kind of like left it in like a cliffhanger type of story right there.
They did.
So, you can tell that like they want to make the third one and then conclude the final story into it. Like there's no question about it. Like Moana is a like honeyduking like original story that they want to keep continuing writing the story. And I just hope that they don't like turn it into like Frozen, where they want to make Frozen, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh god, like please don't make it into like Frozen 4 for the love of God.
Yeah, apparently with Frozen 3 and 4, they said that the story is so big in scope that they have to do it as like a part 1, part 2 kind of thing, which is
Well,
makes it 3 and 4.
I just hope that 4 is the last one. They don't go back to it, because it just feels like Disney like sometimes does a sequel as like a kind of like, I guess, like a risk free issue, where they feel that making a new IP right now is like the biggest risk, where they feel that they're gonna end up being like Strange Worlds, where they're not gonna make a lot of box office or something.
Yeah.
And and also Wish was not so great either. So I think that's why Bob Iger at that time was like, you know what, we'll just keep making more sequels for the time being, because obviously these years were not so great.
Well, and then the live action Lilo and Stitch did really well, which they did confirm that Chris Sanders is coming to direct the sequel that's going to be coming out, what is it, next year?
Yeah.
I think. And then John Make It Rain says they should have done Treasure Planet, and Sean Arani continues Treasure Planet and Atlantis. I would have loved to have seen Treasure Planet and Atlantis as live action. I think that they can really pull them off. And it's a shame that they're not as widely popular, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't do well as live action. I think all the more it might bring a new generation to watch them. And actually, Atlantis is celebrating its 25th anniversary right now. And honestly, I think even with their storyline, I know they won't use them, but I would even see them using those IP in Kingdom Hearts, even though I know that they're not. But I think Treasure Planet and Atlantis would have worked really well.
Yeah. I actually thought about that, and then like Treasure Planet and Atlantis were not as popular as it was, like, comparing to other like major main IPs right there. I think if they were to bring it into a remake live action, I think they would do a better job than the animation. I think Disney should really consider about doing like their failed out animations into live action than the successful IPs into live action instead, because like obviously if you do like the successful IP and turn it into a live action, people are gonna expect that it's gonna be. People are gonna think that you have to have the same expectation and same quality of storytelling as an animation. But it turns out to be pretty bad, because people have had too much high expectations right there. So they're like, oh, is it going to be as good as this? No, it didn't. So they're pretty much like disappointed about it. But if you think about it, like in a Treasure Planet and Atlantis, because it was not so popular, if you do those into live action, they're gonna be like, oh wow, this is actually better than the original than I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think their storyline, their scope, I think can do really well as live action more than the animation, even though I do love the movies as the animated features that they are. But I think that, as I said, they would create a whole new generation of viewers that they would probably take to it more, because I feel like that they're more adult themed of understanding the storyline. I don't think I think that's where they went wrong. Young kids couldn't follow the storyline. And honestly, I even feel the same way a little bit with Frozen 2. I felt like I love the risk that they took with Frozen 2, but there's a lot of like misunderstanding and misinterpreting of the story, where I feel like that the storyline itself would have been good as a live action.
Yeah.
And then as far as for Lilo and Stitch, I know that they added like Stitch in space, with Birth by Sleep, but I would love for them to do like the on Earth Stitch with Lilo in Hawaii, like, and continue the storyline in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I think that would. With Kingdom Hearts 4, I think it can possibly work as long as they bring Ben Terra and Aqua into the story again, because they're the ones who actually interacted with Stitch at the time.
That is true. Now, did Stitch was he like a summoning character for Sora?
In Kingdom Hearts 2, yes.
Okay.
But I think Stitch at that time like had a pretty good relations with like like people at that time, because like the development between Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, that he opened up to Sora, obviously, and that was like and at that time Stitch was already in Hawaii type of Earth world right there, because you were supposed to play guitar with him and stuff like that. So,
that's right.
No, not guitar, ukulele. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, Stitch is already settled within that like the Earth planet right there. So should they ever bring in, I think the only way that would work is I think that pink female version of Stitch character. I think her name was Angel.
Oh, Angel. Yeah.
I think that would be the only way that would work. The new storytelling would work. Like to
bring in the cousins.
Yeah.
And then Sean Arani says, I just hope that there is a really closing point to Frozen 3 and can stand alone for the Frozen 4 movie. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, because the way that they went about describing it, they said that it's supposed to be, even though it's titled Frozen 3 and Frozen 4, it's almost like a part 1, part 2 kind of thing. But we'll have to wait and see, because we only got that one piece of concept art from Jennifer Lee 2 years ago. That was it. And I think that they just started recording Josh Gad, Kristen Bell. They went into the recording studio to record their lines. And from what Josh Gad is saying, that this is like the biggest epic kind of movie he's ever been a part of. But I don't know like how we'll see how it actually goes. But I mean, it is part of the Frozen franchise, so I'm for sure it'll do mad money anyway.
Yeah, so I think Josh Gad did say that he started voicing for the 2000, I think back in February, I think. So most likely is that we might actually see something different for once. Like Josh, if they voiced back in February, if they started voicing, that means that they haven't even like touched any of the voice or like the editing at all. That means so they only went to like they started building the concept and like animating. So since you and I were actually there back in 2020 for D23, they announced that it was going to be 2027 that they're releasing Frozen 3. So
Can
most likely
see that still happening for that timeline.
Yes, with the way it's going, I think the 1 year of voicing and development, it will be like that. So if anything, you are going to D23 Expo, if I'm right. And
correct. Yeah.
So during that cinematic showcase, you might actually see something like a kind of like a teaser right there.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I think that's the like a kind of like a basic teaser of like like a simple 10-second teaser scene probably. I think that's my biggest bet right there. And then
maybe I know we probably won't get like the date, but maybe just winter. It's probably going to be the back end of 2027. It's probably going to be winter 2027.
They already said November 24th, like around Thanksgiving.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, so next year Thanksgiving. I think it's a perfect time for them to release it, because around that like a Thanksgiving to holiday time is usually their biggest blockbuster release time anyways. And that's usually the time when people usually buy a lot of tickets to watch the movie. So which is why this year, the Doomsday is supposed to be the biggest thing right there. And
I feel like Doomsday and the Odyssey are going to kind of go head to head with the #1 spot of the year.
Yeah, the only issue about Doomsday is that they're not doing IMAX comparing.
Dune is taking that spot, which I'm surprised that they're not doing the IMAX.
I don't know why, but I feel like Russo brothers feel that they don't want to like. I have a feeling the Russo brothers probably have some kind of idea on why they don't want to do it to IMAX, and but they believe that this is going to be one of their best work that they've done so far, even better than Endgame. So we'll see what happens.
I hope so. And again, it's going to have to lead up into Secret Wars. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, folks, I think we are about wrapping it up. Great conversation, just with many different things that kind of involve within the Walt Disney Company, but also intertwining with the Kingdom Hearts video game series. And great conversation. I'm so glad you were able to come on and clarify a lot of things. Because as I said, I've played the video games before, but I mean, like, I haven't really like touched like in depth of the lore of Kingdom Hearts and like the intertwinings of it. So I am glad that you were able to come on. We were able to talk and clarify some things, and it was just a fun conversation. But definitely thank you so much for coming on. You're always welcome back on the channel. And Spring Blossom Fairy, doing good. How are you? But Lucas Kim, if you would like to let everyone know where they could find you on social media.
You can find me on X as at iLucasK. That's my username on the platform. And then you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lucas and Disney. You can also find me right there.
Awesome. And of course, you all know me as George, the Disney Italiano, host of here on this YouTube channel, Hello Gelato, where Abby and I cover all things in the theme parks, Disney, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, even the cruise line. We also do life vlogs, event vlogs, all that kind of good jazz. We got a lot of content coming out for you. So please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for all the new content notifications. And also you could find us on Instagram under Hello Gelato. And you could also find me on my other Instagram account, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.